We mark more than 200,000 American lives lost and 6 months of the NewsHour honoring the victims of COVID-19 every Friday evening. Tonight, we honor 5 more. Here are their stories. Howard Croft had no tolerance for injustice. Raised by his grandparents in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, Howard learned early on to fight for working people. He spent decades fighting for social justice and advocating for voting rights and D.C. statehood. His wife described Howard as entirely fierce, but said he let his gentle side show for her and the rest of their family. Howard was 78. Ana Maria de la Torre was an icon in her San Jose neighborhood. Her friends said, for dozens of families, she cared for their children as a nanny and cleaned their homes. The Mexican native loved hosting huge parties and bringing people and cultures together. She was known for her phenomenal cooking. Ana was also a fighter. She survived lymphoma in 2012. Her beloved son and granddaughter were by her side when she passed at the age of 65. Growing up in Ford City, Pennsylvania, Timothy Russell enjoyed reading so much that his mom would have to ask the librarian to send him home for dinner. He went on to become an admired scholar, headmaster of Christian schools, and most recently a minister in Memphis, Tennessee. A friend said that Tim was a courageous pastor who loved fiercely. He enjoyed traveling the world with his wife. Tim was 62 years old. 47-year-old Raven Voice was a born caregiver. Raised in Tulsa, Oklahoma, as a member of the Creek Nation, Raven's daughter said her mom was always taking care of others. She tutored and mentored Native American students and worked for 14 years as a nurse for the elderly. Above all else, her family said she was dedicated to her mother, children, and grandchildren. Ray Doc Doherty would sit on the front porch of the house he lived in for 49 years in Philadelphia and smile or chat with anyone who walked by. A letter carrier for the U.S. Postal Service for almost 4 decades, Doc was beloved by the community he served. Doc's wife of 50 years said her U.S. Army veteran husband was a simple man whose greatest joys were her, their 3 children, and 13 grandchildren. Doc was 70 years old. We want to thank all the family members who shared these stories tonight. Our hearts go out to you and to everyone who's lost a loved one in this pandemic.
And good morning, and welcome to another edition of the National Newspaper Publishers Association's Let It Be Known. And yes, we are continually updating you on information about COVID-19, the vaccines, and things related to that. Sharing stories that from all people from all walks of life, as you can see there. This morning, Haitian-born, New York-based artist Guy Stanley Feloche and a lot of people have been moved by what he has been doing for the art community over the past year. As the media industry continues to amplify Black voices, this is the kind of uplifting, inspiring story we all need right now. Well, Guy and his co-curator, Didi Colabella, joins us this morning to talk about his artwork and what's coming up. But first, of course, let us go over the headlines this morning. And as Americans face a daunting surge of COVID-19 hospitalizations, with rates for children and adults under 50 hitting their highest levels yet, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration on Monday granted full approval to the Pfizer BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine for people aged 16 and older. The approval could help people's concerns, I should say, for those who are vaccine hesitant, as all 3 vaccines available in the U.S. have so far been distributed under emergency use authorization. It could also help businesses, schools, and states enforce vaccine mandates. And also, those mandates could help quell the ever-growing number of cases, especially in states that are experiencing a lack of available ICU beds. And there are plenty of those, folks. Folks are now saying that because it's approved, because it's fully approved, many more may now take the vaccine. We know that there will still be hesitancy, but the approval, the full approval, does not mean, and it's so important, the CDC stresses, it did not mean and does not mean that those who have taken the vaccine prior to it becoming fully approved, that there's a difference in it. No, the emergency use was because we are and still are, we were and still are in a pandemic. So the federal government, health experts, science experts authorized the use of that vaccine on an emergency basis. And certainly we've been in an emergency for the past year and a half. So now it's fully approved, at least the Pfizer vaccine is, and Johnson & Johnson and Moderna are all also on its way to getting full authorization as well. Of course, the third dose is being recommended now 8 months after the second dose. It's called the booster shot. And there's a thought that we may have to have that booster shot at least once a year. But the important thing is that the vaccines are authorized. And also, Pfizer is working on vaccines now. They say data for younger children ages 2 to 5 could be available shortly after the vaccine for children ages 5 to 11. They expect vaccines to be available starting by the trials, at least, to be over by the end of September, and vaccines to come shortly after that for those under 12. We know that to this point, it's only been 12 years and older, but now the health officials are saying that September, the end of September, the trial should end for 5 to 11-year-olds, and vaccine approval should come shortly thereafter, as they also work on children ages 2 to 5. Now we are joined now by our president and CEO of the National Newspaper Publicists Association, Dr. Benjamin F. Chavis Jr. Good morning, Dr. Chavis.
Good morning, Stacey Brown, and thank you once again for leading us off this morning with the headlines. And on behalf of Karen Carla Richards and 230 African-American owned newspapers and media companies across the country that represent the NNPA, we're so pleased once again to be back on Let It Be Known.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dr. Chavis, we were discussing the full approval now of the Pfizer vaccine. What you are hearing, Dr. Chavis, I want to ask you what you are hearing about how that's going to impact getting the vaccines out to people.
I think it will increase the distribution and the acceptance of the vaccine, particularly in Black America. There's been too much hesitation and people raising questions that are not based on science, not based on facts, not based on truth. And I think now that there's a full approval by the FDA, I think people will have less of the tendency to believe some of the myths and stereotypes and falsehoods about the vaccine, the effectiveness of the vaccine. Keep in mind, at the end of the day, this is about protecting oneself, protecting one's family, protecting one's community from this dangerous virus. Let's think about how many people have lost their lives over the last 12 months, many of whom have been Black and brown people across the United States, hundreds of thousands. And so we have to do better. And, the flu season is coming. Schools are opening. The infection rate among children now is on the increase. So this battle is still going on. The state of emergency in Black America, as far as the COVID-19 virus, is still on alert. And we need to do everything we can to protect our communities.
Yeah, absolutely. And also in the news this morning, Dr. Chavis, Howard University enjoyed a more than 15% enrollment increase during the pandemic, and officials at the historically Black college expect those numbers to increase this fall. This has the potential to be our largest freshman class ever. Anthony Ruto, the provost at Howard and chief academic officer, told reporters. up north from DC, Bowie State reportedly expects an 8% increase in overall enrollment this fall. The increase in enrollment at Howard and Bowie reflects what's happening at HBCUs around the country. Some observers believe that calls for racial justice after the murder of George Floyd and the global awareness of the Black Lives Matter movement have contributed mightily to the rise in enrollment at HBCUs. So HBCUs are now seeing not only enrollment increases, Dr. Chavis, but more and more donors are starting to recognize HBCUs.
Very important that we have financial sustainability of our historically Black colleges and universities. I think this is good news for HBCUs. I also think that the demographics contribute to it. There are more African American young people now graduating from high school. There are more African American young people in elementary school. In fact, as you know, the census has verified what the Children's Defense Fund released a couple of months ago, that the majority of children now in America under 18 are children of color. So it's only a natural that it would follow through, that if we have more brothers and sisters in the public school system who are doing well, who are finishing high school with good grades and good accomplishment, then they're going to go to college. And I'm so pleased to hear that they're making a choice to go to HBCUs, historically Black colleges and universities. So you're right. Now we have to make sure that our HBCUs have the funding, have the endowments, have the sustainability of contributions that would keep our great universities open and thriving.
Yeah, and Dr. Chavis, in fact, Morgan State University this past May announced that they had received 14,600 undergraduate applications for this coming school semester for the 2021-2022 year, shattering the record of 2019 by 58%. Morgan State also pulled in 1,200 housing applications, which is up more than 50% from 2019. And also at Morgan State, because of the Biden-Harris administration's Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act, debt was wiped out from the school. So, a lot going on there with our HBCUs, a lot of good stuff going on there. Enrollment is up, endowments are up.
Yes.
Looking up.
And I'm going to give a shout out to NAFIO, the National Association for Equal Opportunity in Higher Education. Dr. Leslie Baskerville has done such a great job. The United Negro College Fund has done a great job. The Thurgood Marshall College Fund has done a great job. I think that these organizations help provide leadership and sustainability for our HBCUs. So the Black Press salutes all of our HBCUs this morning.
Yeah, absolutely. And we want to say good morning to all those watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and whatever platform you are joining us this morning. Let it be known, we have this morning, we want to welcome New York-based artist Guy Stanley Feloche and his co-curator, Didi. And Didi, that last name, as easy as it looks, you got a way of pronouncing it that we don't. But Colabella, how about that? Welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Morning.
Thank both of you for joining the Black Press of America this morning. Thank you.
So, Guy, you and Didi have a show coming. I'm going to jump right into that right now. Before we get into your background, talk about the show that's coming up that you guys are co-curating together. It's going to be in Connecticut, I'm told.
Yes. Yeah. So over the pandemic, I literally bought over 300 pieces of artwork from over maybe 275 artists from around the world. I wanted to do my part and help throughout the pandemic and everything like that. So not just buying the artwork now was one part. Now I actually want to give these guys a platform, when I was I've been in the art world for about 20 years, and as an artist, no one opened doors for me, but now that I have a seat at the table and I'm in the room, I made it my mission to open doors for other artists. So I met Didi. She has this amazing, beautiful gallery, and we both had the same mission. And so now I'm just doing my second part now. One part was buying the artwork. Now I'm actually giving these guys from the Philoche collection an opportunity to showcase their work.
Yeah, and Didi, talk about what it's like working with Guy. He has such an amazing story, and again, we're going to get more into that in a moment. But what is it like working with him? And talk about what you expect in the upcoming show, and give us some details. When exactly is the show?
Well, thank you. Yes, our show opens up on September 16th. We've got a fantastic guest list already started for that show. And the artist that Guy and I curated, Guy has such an amazing talent and such an amazing eye for, emerging artists. These artists are fantastic. They just, some have been showing, but have never just completely broken in. Some are brand new. And these artists are all new, fresh, exciting. And we're very excited to have them in our gallery. And working with Guy has been a pleasure. He's got such energy and such drive and such passion for not only his art, but the art of his fellow artist. I'm an artist also, but I've kind of shifted over to helping artists get, started. And as Guy says, have a platform. So we're super excited. The show is absolutely knocked down amazing. The artwork is fantastic. And the show will run from September 17th for the public all the way through October 17th. And we're just very excited to bring this art to Ridgefield, Connecticut, which is where the show is at RPAC Gallery.
Yeah, and Guy, you are from Haiti.
Yep.
And your family came over for a chance at a better life. Could you talk a little bit about your upbringing in Haiti? And really, we see what's going on today in Haiti with the earthquake,
Right.
the tropical storm. Talk about how all that impacts you and your work.
Yeah, I came over. I was 5 years old. My dad's an engineer. My mom came over as well to help. They both came over here for a better life. I remember telling them that I was going to go art school, and the look of disappointment was in their face was just so horrific. They're like, "No, we worked so hard for you to have a better life. We don't want you to be an artist. We're not paying for you to go art school." At 17 years old, I said, "Okay." I graduated from high school, kissed my parents goodbye, and I went to art school. And fast forward 20 years later, I moved to New York. Kept my eyes on the prize, and I have this amazing career now, which they're so proud of me. But in our culture, they don't, in our culture, they want us to become, doctors, lawyers, or government, some type of government official, where it's all about the pension. And, I have two amazing brothers. I have an older brother and a younger brother who have, great jobs with a great pension and everything like that. And I was the black sheep of the family. So I just kept my eye on the prize and pursue what I love, which was art, and pretty much it. That's it.
Yeah, so Dr. Chavis, he had some internal challenges as well as external challenges. I'm going to throw it to you, Dr. Chavis.
Well, I want to thank Guy and Didi for coming on this morning. And Guy, your story is a triumphant story that you found your God-given gift and talent, and you decided to pursue it. And now, as you say, your parents are very proud of you because of your accomplishment, because of your stick-to-itiveness to your dream. And I think all of our young people should have dreams that they aspire to, get a good education, and then pursue it. But one of the things I wanted to ask Guy was just the importance of art and culture. I think we're living in a sort of a Renaissance period now, where not just people of African descent, but people all over the world are paying more attention to the creative, artistic genius that exists in so many of our communities, not only in Haiti, in Africa, in the Caribbean, certainly in the United States, Canada, other places, all over the world. There seems to be a resurgence of the embrace of art and culture. Could you comment on that?
Yeah, right now, listen, I've been in the art world for a long time, and right now, and I don't want to use the word trend, but right now, there's a huge trend right now in Black art right now, and Black artists, there's tons of money to be, there's people are buying tons of this work, and right now, I feel like we are actually getting an opportunity to showcase our talents and our work, and, in major museums, in major galleries. There's more Black curators now. There's starting to be more Black art critics, which they haven't been in a long time. So it's. I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see that we're actually having a seat at the table now, and doors are opening up for us.
Very, very good. And let me ask you, art, people who paint and people who create art, are there any age limitations? Is it intergenerational? Do you have to be a certain age to get in, or is there a certain age you're too old to do it?
No, not all. That's the beauty, and that's the beauty about art. You could be, just graduating from art school and have an amazing career, or there's people out there who are just being discovered now, and they're 70, 60 years old. But you just gotta have the passion for it. You gotta have the passion for it, and you just gotta keep sticking with it. If this is truly your calling. What's really amazing to see now is that seeing our community understanding the value of art and understanding that it's important, but also to understand it's also an investment, where so many people now are understanding that, wow, if I buy this piece now for, let's say, $5,000, and 5 years down the road, that piece now is worth, let's say $200,000. And I'm glad to see that in our community, we understand the value of that.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Dr. Chavis. Guy, interesting thing. So you mentioned being in the art world for 20 years. Well, you celebrated it in a very unique way, I'm told, during the COVID-19 when it broke out last year. You were going to make a certain purchase, and then something happened. Can you take it from there and explain to us about that?
Yeah. So I'm represented by Colabella Gallery in New York City. They also have a gallery in Greenwich, Connecticut, and Palm Beach, and Nantucket. So in 2019, when COVID would before COVID happened, I was just celebrating my sold out show in New York City at Colabella Gallery. And the numbers came in, and I was super excited, and I wanted to do something nice for myself. I wanted to buy this $20,000 Rolex watch. And at that time, that watch symbolized that I made it. I'm in the room. I have a seat at the table, and also too, that watch also was one of those things where I wanted to maybe pass down to my kids as a memory. So I'm at the Rolex store. I'm trying on these watches. I'm super excited about it. And then COVID kind of hits, right? And then I'm in my studio, and this voice in my head was saying, "Hey, now's not the time to purchase this watch. You need to step up. You're a New Yorker. This is what we do. Step up, help." But that voice became louder and louder and louder until it was screaming at me. So I go on Instagram and basically did a call out, saying, "Hi, my name is Stanley Feloci. I'm an artist in New York City. New York's been really, really good to me, so it's my turn to return the favor. I'm looking to buy as much art as possible." And I hit send. And let me tell you guys, that's when my world just went whoosh. I didn't realize that so many people were going to respond to the call out. So $250,000 later, over 300 pieces of artwork, the Philoche collection has started.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. So you went from thinking about celebrating your achievement to using that moment to help others. I'm gonna segue to Dee Dee. Dee Dee, how important is it for gallery owners and others to provide a platform and exposure to artists? Are galleries the primary venue for the public to connect with artists?
Oh, it is extremely important. We have had a mission at RPAC to really support the artist through marketing, through allowing them to show, through promotion, and of course, finding the collectors for their work. So this has been a huge mission of our Pat Gallery from the start. And that is where Guy and I connected on such a deep level with our missions. Because to me, I was an artist. I graduated with my MFA. I'm a painter. And when they did that, they didn't tell you what to do next. And I always felt like if we could not only teach, but help the artist understand that it is a business, but it's also a passion, and you can combine the two and create success like Guy Stanley Feloche's had. So when we talked and our missions so aligned, it was just the natural fit for us to do this show. And, I truly believe that by helping and encouraging and guiding the artist and the business aspect as well as the creative aspect, that's where my mission lies. And that's where I feel it's so important to have a gallery to help them get that opportunity.
Yeah. And just quickly too, I want to go back to Guy. We talked about Haiti. One of our publishers in Texas, Cheryl Smith, saying we have to help Haiti. We must help Haiti. Guy, what efforts have you seen being made from stateside that is helping or attempting to help the situation in Haiti? And what is the art world doing?
Well, I can tell you this, when the first earthquake happened, I basically rented a U-Haul for 6 months, parked in front of my building, and had every major university come and donate, water, tents, survival gear, basically. And then I teamed up with the Forgotten Children of Haiti, and we sent over 6 crates over, to Haiti. And once again, I'm doing my part to help and everything like that. But now I have a bigger platform. I have access to celebrities. I have access to CEOs and high-profile people. So once again, we're going to do what we do. I'm going to try organize another place where I could get tons of cargo, tons of materials, more camping stuff, more baby diapers, bottled water, all the and then send over to Haiti. So that's the thing about New York City, and this people around the world. When a disaster happens, people love to step up and help out and everything like that. So, and the art world right now, I know for a fact, are doing tons of art auctions to help raise funds for Haiti.
Yeah, and real quick, Guy, too, a couple of pieces of your art. Can you explain your what inspires you, particularly the show that's coming up with you and Dee Dee? Some of the artwork. What has been the inspiration behind some of your artwork?
Well, listen, I live in New York City. I as soon as I walked out my door, I get inspired. A lot of it has to do with my culture background, living in New York City. I was really influenced by growing up as a kid for this new series I've been working on. It's the Revolution and the Love series. Growing up as a kid, English is my second language, so I learned how to speak English by watching lots of cartoons on Saturday morning from nice big bowl of cereal. So I do. Right now, I'm doing lots of pop art right now with lots of cartoon characters that I love watching, and putting the word revolution on them, because right now we are going through a revolution. But also too, when people hear the word revolution, they think about like chaos and war and everything like that. But no, we don't have to. We don't necessarily have to have a revolution with chaos. We could definitely have a peaceful revolution. So that's why I'm mixing like icon cartoon characters with the word revolution and everything like that. And also as far as like for this show, it's just so many amazing talented artists out there that just need a shot. And that's all they're asking for is a shot. And why not give it to them? My thing is to just buying the artwork was one part of it, but I want people to start dreaming big again. and for some strange reason, we stopped dreaming big as a society. And I don't know if it's a generational thing because their parents, pursued dreams and their dreams didn't happen. But we need to start letting people know that to dream big, because dreams do come true.
Yeah. Dr. Chavis, your closing thoughts?
Well, again, I want to thank Guy and Dee Dee for having not only informative presentation this morning, but stimulating. I think you're going to encourage a whole generation of new artists that hear this morning's show, Guy and Dee Dee. And so thank you for your leadership and best wishes for success at your new show in Connecticut.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, Dee Dee, is there a website people can go and learn more about the show?
Absolutely, it is DColabellaFineArt.com. And you can go out there and preview all the work. And if there's any piece that you'd like to see beforehand, we can arrange private showings for you to, during the pandemic. We have that option where you can feel safe.
And one more time, the website?
DColabellaFineArt.com.
Well, thanks so much to both Guy and Dee. We really appreciate it, and continued success to both of you. And let's hope that show goes as planned. Make plans now to join us for the National Newspaper Publishers Association's Leadership Reception, September 16th. You can sign up now at www.virtuenmpa2021.com. Several high-profile awardees. Dr. Chavis, I know you have a list. Why don't you give us a couple of names of who are going to receive awards at the leadership reception?
Thank you. We are awarding Senator Cory Booker, Senator Warnock from Georgia. We are awarding some of the people who have made a critical difference in improving the quality of life, Dr. Ebony Hilton from the University of Virginia, and many others who have really made a contribution. That's what the Black press does. We lift up individuals and leaders who help improve the quality of life, not only for African Americans, but for all people in America and throughout the world. So it's the NMPA National Leadership Awards reception, where we give out these awards. It's going to be virtual because of COVID-19, but we're looking forward, and it's going to be September the 16th. September the 16th. It's going please register. And the reason why we register is not a cost to attend, but we want to add your names and emails to our email list so you can stay informed on a daily basis from the Black Press of America. So we're looking forward. Stacey, thanks for giving the opportunity to promote the NMPA's 2021 National Leadership Awards reception.
Absolutely. And again, it's virtualnmpa2021.com. Sign up today and let it be known. Remember this, in the words of the late Nelson Mandela, it always seems impossible until it's done. We will see you tomorrow.